How operations management eliminates wasteful resources expenditure. Eliminating wasteful capital consumption from the systems is an essential part of effective operations management. Make sure the organization has the tools it needs to find and remove waste in all fields. The removal of waste products from all of your activities is one of the core concepts of just-in-time management. Any non-value-added operation can be classified as waste. Any activity that adds value to the commodity is referred to as value-added activity. Find waste to be your adversary and aim to eradicate it at all costs. You must first be able to recognize waste in the operations before you can remove it. Many small businesses generate a significant amount of waste, but they do not monitor it. Furthermore, many small companies become complacent and embrace destruction as an inevitable part of doing business. Avoid any of these pitfalls by keeping track of the waste and attempting to remove it. For most instances, good operations management focuses not only on waste reduction but also waste elimination. Rather than incorporating procedures or attempting to handle current ones, the first step should be to reduce waste. But first, if you're new here, consider subscribing to this channel to continue receiving great weekly videos on consulting. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you can get informed every time I publish a new video. Waste's major components. Waste adds no value to the customer's experience and does not contribute to the result, but has to be paid for. It can be found at every level of your organization, in every division, and almost every operation. The most commonly found places in industry are mentioned below. 7. Inventory. Inventory can be a massive waste of money for product-based companies. This is particularly true in industries where goods can expire. Any inventory that isn't explicitly required to fulfill customers' orders can be considered waste. Investigate the inventory with sales data to ensure you have the bare minimum of inventory. Reset manufacturing processes so that you're just generating what you need to satisfy short selling. Transform the manufacturing process to produce based on customer demand rather than retaining inventory expense if you're able to. It's not just about the goods when it comes to inventory. It would help if you thought about your office equipment and what you hold in stock for the management side of your company regularly. Overproduction. Overproduction relates to the inventory of manufacturing. Companies frequently try to keep workers busy so that their labor is well used. Manufacturing continues and more stock is moved into the store. Reduce the number of hours worked and trim those that are no longer needed. You're spending money on the product, the expense of maintaining the inventory, and the labor involved in making and sustaining the development during these periods. Increased processing. It is incredible how many businesses employ a complex system of checks and balances to prevent mistakes, but they still happen. When we try to improve the output efficiency, the company spends more money without making a big dent in the costs. When additional work is needed to repair problems and errors or to redesign an issue that should have been handled the first time correctly if procedures were carefully followed or built upon, overprocessing occurs. Transportation. Transportation. It's incredible how much it costs to move something, whether it's material or records. Items are continually transported from one location to another in production and physical goods, even though they may sit for a long time. They're often redirected across the same facility to make space for more products to be transferred. Products are routed farther than required, and labor and energy prices for filing, stocking, stacking, and transporting products continues to rise. This transportation isn't always allowed, and employees transfer products at random. There is an immediate expense associated with this and extra costs associated with other members of the team having to spend spare time finding the initial items that were not relocated in the first place. Downtime. Downtime occurs regularly, usually as the duration of forced inactivity caused by a stalled or underclogged downstream operation. Manufacturing may come to a halt due to a shortage of components and subcomponents, adjustments in orders, lowered equipment, too frequent checks, company products, and much more. Companies should set one or more of the following targets to achieve that spending reduction. Improve the quality. Your capacity to achieve or exceed consumer standards is directly influenced by the quality of your products or services. Let's assume you market a service that has parts from 3 different manufacturers. The price as well as the quality differs for each. The cheapest alternative can save you hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, but is more likely to fail. While you might save money during manufacturing, the possibility of further failures would affect customer satisfaction. As a result, you'll get poor reviews, bad press, and lower profits. When it comes to saving money, sometimes less is enough. Eliminate waste. Waste and operation are typically accounted for as part of a company's payroll. Expenses added into the price charged by consumers. There isn't a single customer alive who wants to pay for the company's waste and failure to keep costs under control. As a result, removing needless practices that waste time and money but have little benefit to you or your customers is a critical step in developing efficient operations management. Reduce lead time. Lead times are the amount of time it takes to complete specific tasks or the time it takes to complete different steps in a process. Here are a few examples. The time it would take to accept or return a transaction after a sales order or purchase order has been sent. The time it takes to transform raw materials into finished goods. When a service or product can launch out, the launch time is measured from point to point. The time it takes to execute a marketing plan from the moment it is conceived. Reduce total cost. The direct and indirect costs of bringing your product to consumers or selling and providing your service to customers make up your overall bill. There is never a set price, and those prices can and will change. It would help if you constantly balance the merits of your product service against operating costs due to this fluctuation. Finding cost-cutting opportunities by lean processes will help you maintain market share while also preventing your profit margin from declining. Waste monitoring and removal is a continuous operation. Waste will continue to accumulate in your business if it is not systematically sought and eliminated. You'll find it increasingly difficult for unnecessary things to spring up in your company once you've made a habit of finding and removing waste. The advantages of reduced waste are apparent. All that's required is some action to get the process started. If you like the video, give us a like so we can make more videos like this one, and tell us in the comments section below what type of videos you want. Lastly, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more weekly videos.